Hello everyone and welcome to the Extreme Tig channel. So for today's video guys, I'm gonna show you the keyhole technique. The keyhole usually it's a technique that applies on a thicker material. So there's a couple basic setups pretty much you have to pay attention to prior to start welding. Every time check your cables, check your connection, make sure everything is tight and grounded, tungsten, clean, sharp, argon flow, and torch and filler wire. Okay, so for today I'm gonna show you on a 12-inch SCAD 80 elbow. It's on a 150 flange. I'm gonna show you the bottom part and prep as always, pretty much feather edge. Just make sure everything is nice and clean, no any obstacles in inside the groove, so you can walk the cup, you can wiggle freehand, whatever, as long as you got a clear, nice path to do that. As for the gap itself, it's not even, it's really tight 1/8, so I'm not really gonna be able to lay wire or feed like some kind of constant feed, and I'm gonna do a keyhole, especially on a thicker material. That's where the keyhole applies the best. You want to have nice, good, solid penetration, and focusing your TIG arc on a keyhole line, and try to make sure your selection of nozzle that fits inside. And as I said, you can wiggle that nozzle. It's way easier for you when you're doing keyhole technique. The nozzle must be nice, clean. Okay, so I'm gonna show you two types. Let's say first is gonna be 115, and kind of slowly progress, slow manipulation, and just adding as you opening that keyhole line on your root line. So gradually move the torch along the joint line, focusing the arc on the joint. As I said, the heat from the arc is gonna melt the base metal and creating that narrow, elongated keyhole shaped groove. The other important thing is just control the size and depth of the keyhole. Just adjust the torch angle, travel speed, and heat input. It's important to maintain a stable keyhole throughout that welding process. And adding filler wire as the keyhole progresses along. You just gotta add that material into keyhole to ensure proper fusion. As I said, this is 115 amps. I slow it down a little bit so you got better picture. This is from the inside. This is how it looks like. As I said, usually the keyhole is on a thicker material, and pretty much with a bigger, heavier stuff, that gap even shrinks even a little bit more. So the keyhole is perfect, especially in the field. This is not a field, this is all like a little fab area, so I could use a grinder and open up the gap a little bit more, or just make a bigger gap initially, but this is for education purposes, just to show you. And this is from the outside. I mentioned lots of times you can judge the root inside by by the outside appearance. So now we're gonna go with a 140. So what's gonna happen? So you gotta adjust your travel speed to heat input. As I said, the first one was 115, and we went a little bit slower. And this is actual travel speed I'm doing on 140 amps here. And that's pretty much the keyhole. I'm opening up with my with my torch, with my arc. I opening up that keyhole and just adding wire. So it's really important just to adjust your travel speed, adjust your feeding timing, and by this technique you just got enough input of filler wire to your route. As you can see here, this is 140. Keyholes just allows more inside, and then you're gonna have a consistent feed, consistent timing as you're adding that rod to that keyhole. So you're gonna have a nice and consistent route. You can apply different techniques, as I said, but pretty much when it's field welding, this is what you want, especially if there's not much room. It's hard to get a grinder in or whatever. There's always different factors that we can and you got to be ready to apply any technique. So this is from the outside. This is 115, and you can see by the it's a little bit cold, and this is the hot one. This is 140. You can see it's a different pattern as you're going way hotter. It's gonna look different from the outside as well. And that's it from the inside. The most important thing, especially on that kind of horizontal welding, there's no undercuts or insufficient penetration. Okay, now I'm just going to remove all those tacks. I'm just going to finish up with the, between tacks. I'm going to continue on with 140 as the pipe shrink on a little bit, so I'm just going to continue on with the keyhole technique on the 140 amps. Now I'm going to close it. Now we're going to do a tie-in. As you can notice, I always start ½ inch on the weld itself, and all my stop starts are feather out, so I have a nice and smooth connection, so it blends in. I'm using a cup size 8 on the root. You can even go maybe cup 10 or even cup 6, whatever it's easier for you. Depends, as I said, of your heat and your travel speed. I could go with a 332, but not really a big fan of 332 filler wire, especially when I'm doing keyhole technique. I like to have 1/8, as 1/8 gives me more root penetration inside. I got more material in, and it's easier to control, especially when I like to run hot. So for the tie-in, as always, I pause a little bit and I just go over that like ½ inch. And just add wire as needed. And finish on the sidewall, so you prevent any pinholes, especially on dry torches without remote control. Okay, now I switch to cup size 12. Now you can, whatever you like, you can walk the cup, you can wiggle, whatever it's easier for you. I'm just now I'm gonna go really hot on this one. I'm gonna do a little bit running hot, so that rod that I'm using, ADS D2, so with really higher amperage, that rod gets a little bit more liquid, so it's a little bit easier to manipulate. And I'm gonna do a little bit heavier on a hot pass, so kind of doing hot pass and one pass of fill in the same time. But unfortunately, the equipment that I have, it's really, it's not handling that high amperage, as you can see right here. It's only 150 torch, so I ran too hot. Wrong judgment. I was thinking it's gonna last at least to finish my pass, but I guess not. And that's it. That's it for the hot pass. As I said, I like to go a little bit heavier. That's why I'm running 200 amps. So I got more material inside. And that's it, pretty much for the route. Now I'm just gonna give you a little bonus video. This pipe now, it's stick fill and cap. Takes quite a bit passes to fill to flush and then cap it. And 7018, that's for the stick. Just gonna, the reason why I run a little bit thicker, so I can run 316 rod. So I don't have any burn through and stuff like that. And that's it, pretty much. This is what it takes. As you can see, lots of passes. The good thing, as I said, it's a little prefab area I gotta set up. So I got a chair, so it's easier for me. Takes quite a bit of passes to make it fill to flush. And then cap is gonna be like six pass cap. And that's it. That's business as usual. This is my regular day at work. Sometimes, if it's not any field weld, then I got something like this. This is a really good day. And that's it, guys. That's it, guys, for today. Hope you like it. Hope you learned something new. There's no any undercut on the top. That's most important thing, and that just looks nice and looks good. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.